Alrighty, good morning, Instagram and Facebook. I'm going live this morning to give you a peek behind the scenes of what the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program looks like. Might help if I had actually had a microphone in my face so that you could hear me. Let me just put this on. So I am going to share my screen with you on Facebook. So if you're watching along on Facebook, you'll be able to see. If you are watching along on Instagram, I would jump across to the Dietitian Approved Facebook group if you do want to see what's going on my screen. Hey, Darren. Hey, Sarah. Hey, the occasional triathlete. So yeah, I'll share my screen with you on Facey. Doing that now, just getting all my tech set up. Geez, there's lots of screens going on. So let's do it. So, hey, Kim, how you going? All right, so let me show you what my screen looks like, and I'm going to take you behind the scenes to the actual program. So when you log in, what does that actually look like? So let me just get my screen share happening, and then I'll take you through. So you'll only be able to see my screen on Facebook, obviously. I've got too many things in my face. Hang on. This one. Hang on. I just got to move you out of the way, Insta. I can't actually see what's going on. Okay, here we go. All right, so if you're on Facebook, you should be able to see my screen. So this is what inside the program looks like when we're looking at just the first phase. So that it's a 3-phase program. It goes for 12 months. And each phase has a different kind of theme where I step you through everything you need to know about triathlon nutrition. So our first phase is our fundamentals. And in this phase, we're really working hard to come up with a day-to-day nutrition plan for what you're eating on a day-to-day basis. So when you log in, we've got modules for the first 8 weeks. And this is the topics that we go through. So I'll run you through those and what they look like, and then we'll go into them as well. So the first thing we do is recovery nutrition, which is one of the most important things you need to do as a triathlete, is to actually have a plan for what your recovery nutrition is. A lot of triathletes do some form of recovery nutrition, but it doesn't kind of tick the right boxes for them. And the timing's all wrong, and it's a really easy fix. When you know what you need to do for you, it's very individual. We come up with your specific plan and then make it easy so it's not hard to do whatever it is that you need to be doing. So we're doing that first. So that unlocks itself at 5 a.m. Brisbane time tomorrow morning. Like, we get started tomorrow, and doors close to the program tomorrow night at 6. So if you jump in today, then you can already get started first thing tomorrow morning rather than waiting till, Saturday night, Sunday. And there's a reason that things unlock in the morning on the weekend. It's because typically that's when you are going to have the most time to go through the content. Usually, like if you're a worker, unless you're a shift worker, if you're like a Monday to Friday worker, then the weekends are when you're going to have the most time to sit down and watch and learn. So each week we have a masterclass that's pre-recorded by me, and we dive into why it's so important that we're doing these things, and then specifically how to do it. And that's the most important thing. I'm going to take you step by step through exactly what you need to do so that we can come up with, say, your recovery nutrition plan that's perfect for you. And then later on in the week, on a Thursday morning, you get me live in our live power hour sessions where you can ask me questions, pick my brain, make sure you're not stuck on anything with what you've just learnt, and we'll just finesse your plan so that by the end of that week, we can move on to the next topic and you've nailed that next component of triathlon nutrition. So recovery is first, and then pre-training is next, which is, again, super important, because what I think you do around training to start with is the most important. It gives you the best bang for your buck out of your session. You need to have a strategy for what you're doing before certain sorts of sessions. Like, are we fueling? Are we not? What are we fueling? Let's be strategic around that rather than just doing the same thing all the time. And then recovery as well, making sure we're doing that to the best of our ability, because we don't have a lot of time to recover when we are training for 3 sports in a week. It's not like you've got 2 days of resting before you go and do a really hard session again. So it's really important that you're recovering properly, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. So the first 2 weeks are around training nutrition before and after, and then we start working on building out the rest of your meal plan for the rest of the week. So that's done across 2 weeks so that we can not overwhelm you and just step you through the fundamentals of what you need to be doing. And then by week 4, we're starting to layer in some more periodization to that so that we're eating differently on different types of training days. And that's really important because you don't have 2 days of training that are the same. So I like to teach my athletes to eat strategically on, lighter training days versus like moderate training days versus hard training days. And that needs to look different. And we're not just eating the same thing all the time. So that's the first 4 weeks. So in a month's time from now, so in the middle of October, you'll have a clear plan for what you need to be eating on a day-to-day basis to support training. Then we go through iron and calcium, which are 2 really important nutrients that you need as an endurance athlete. And a lot of people don't kind of think about that. And as a dietitian, I want you to make sure you are ticking all the right boxes on a day-to-day basis for your health and performance now, but also long-term health. And we can really do some damage now if we're not eating properly that may not rear its head until we are older or retired from triathlon. Like we might think we're being really fit now because we're doing lots of training, but I just want to make sure that you're not doing long-term damage and we're setting you up to be, a healthy body forever. So 2 really important nutrients we need to make sure you're getting. And then we talk about ride fuel and run fuel and some fundamental strategies for what to do on what I call a rolling buffet, and then also how to eat on your feet so that we're all on the same kind of playing field as we start the program, and setting you up with some targets around what you should be doing depending on where you are in your season and race prep and all those sorts of things. So that is the first 8 weeks of the first phase. So we'll be doing all of this as we head towards Christmas, hurtle towards Christmas. It's coming around really fast. So in 8 weeks' time, each thing drops weekly. We'll be through all of this. Then we're going to have a little break over Christmas. And then phase 2 starts in January. And that's where we're going to start to tackle what you're doing with your race nutrition strategies. So we start with carb loading. That's the very first thing that drops in January, and how to do that properly, because most triathletes have absolutely no idea how to carb load. It does not equal eating a bowl of pasta the night before your race. That's not carb loading. It comes nowhere near to actually loading our muscle glycogen with fuel. And then we talk about hydration, which is really important to get a handle of, because we know dehydration negatively affects performance, but everyone sweats really differently. So we need to understand what type of sweater you are. And I'll teach you how to do some DIY hydration testing yourself at home, and then what that actually means. You can do this stuff, but then we need to understand how do we actually translate into then what you are doing. And that's really important to do that, right? And then we talk about your pre-race meal. So it's typically breakfast. Triathlon is typically in the morning, but we do have sometimes some afternoon races. And then we're starting to talk about more specific things when it comes to racing. So what do you do if you're doing a hot race compared to a cool race, and your different strategies there? We talk about caffeine, which is definitely a performance booster that you need to harness the power of when you're an endurance athlete. And I'm going to tell you exactly like how much and when you need. It's probably the most researched supplement ever. So we know really clearly what we're doing. But the literature in that has changed over the last 30 years or so. So I'll make sure you're up to date with the latest. And then we are also covering in phase 2. What else are we doing? What have I missed? Your sprint and Olympic distance race nutrition plan. So the shorter stuff and then standard distance. That's what we're covering in phase 2 as well. So we've got a clear plan for those distances of events. It's really important that you have a plan for each of them, because they're all different. You can't have the same plan and just double it. Like you can't double an Olympic distance to get to your 70.3. You can't double your 70.3 to get your Ironman plan. They are all different kind of metabolic systems. We're going different paces. The duration is obviously very different as well. So we need to just be strategic around what we're doing so that we are towing that start line in the best possible shape we can, and then making sure you perform to the best of your ability on the day as well. And you're not like running out of energy or hitting the wall, spending the run vomiting your guts up, or trying to find the portaloos and all those sorts of things that can go pear-shaped when we race. So making sure that you do know what you're doing for all of those distances. And we start in January with phase 2 with our shorter course things. And then phase 3, we're kind of taking things to the next level a little bit. I know that you've spent 24 weeks on your nutrition. We're kind of halfway through that year. We're going to step our knowledge up and layer in some more information so that we can start to think about what we do when we're heading towards longer distance events. And we've got these foundations with our nutrition right first. So in phase 3, it's bigger than the first 2 phases. The first 2 phases are 8 weeks and then 4 bonus weeks at the end. Phase 1 and phase 2 are set up like that. And then phase 3 is a little bit longer. It's 12 weeks. So 12 sort of sessions. And then there's 4 weeks of extra bonus stuff at the end of that as well. And in our third phase, this is where we're going deeper. We are talking about, like, we come back and revisit your day-to-day nutrition that we do right in the beginning and talk about like what happens when you step up from shorter distance racing into more longer course and your whole training volume increases and you've got to absorb more training to get fitter and faster. We also talk about more advanced strategies for on the bike and when you're running. So thinking ahead to longer distance events and what that looks like. We talk about gut training and how to do that properly and strategically so that you can absorb the nutrition that you're throwing at yourself when you're racing longer. And that's really important because you can eat heaps of things or drink heaps of sports drink, whatever it is that you want to do. Whether you absorb that or not, though, is questionable. And we just need to make sure that we are training our gut to absorb more nutrition while we exercise and absorbing it really well, because that is where a lot of people fall down. They just kind of pick a random target that they've read on the internet, or they've done a free calculator on a supplement company's website that tells them that they need this many carbs. And it absolutely in no way takes into consideration you and your needs. So just be mindful of that. If you see a free calculator on a supplement company's website, I would probably question that because they're a company trying to sell you stuff, right? They're trying to sell you their product. So just be mindful. You need a brain to think through all of the things that are you and then decide based on you and your goals what the plan is with your nutrition rather than just blindly following a target that has not been set with you in mind. All right, and so phase 3 will also do your 70.3 and Ironman distance race nutrition plans. So you'll have a specific plan for you. It's not blanket, everyone go and do this. It is 100% custom for 70.3 distance and your Ironman distance racing. We do that over 3 weeks because Ironman's a bit of a beast. So we split the run and the ride into 2 separate weeks so that we have a plan for our ride. We can practice it and fine-tune it and make sure it's perfect. And then we also have a plan for our run when it comes to Ironman distance racing. We talk about race recovery because most people kind of switch off after they cross the finish line, finding balance after your events as well, which is really important because, again, people kind of switch off and then use triathlon to mask eating habits that really need to change or be adjusted. And you see these I've seen a lot of in practice, a lot of people, a lot of Ironman athletes in particular, gain 10 kilos after a race and then use Ironman to bring it back down again. So I don't want that to be you. That's not great for our health. It's not great for like a whole relationship with food. So we're going to make sure we have some balance after our race and we're not just, using Ironman to mask what's really going on. We also talk about some more kind of sprinkles on the icing on the cake, some performance boosters in the back end of phase 3 as well. And I'm sure I've missed some things, but it's all of the details of everything we cover are on the Academy page. So if you go to dietitianapproved.com/academy or go to the website, you probably can't miss it. You'll see everything down the bottom of that page that we go through over the 12 months. So this is what phase 1 specifically looks like. And then after you've done the first 8 weeks of our main kind of phase, then each phase has 4 bonus weeks of stuff at the end of it. Now, our power hour doesn't happen for these bonus weeks. You get 4 weeks break from me, which is maybe a good thing. I'm still around though. I don't like disappear off the face of the earth, but I just don't go live every week. And it just gives you time to go back and rewatch anything if you need to, refresh on something, catch up if you got a little bit behind because, life gets busy. But there's also 4 bonus modules at the end to help you with some other skills that I know that you're going to need that aren't necessarily covered within the phases. So in phase 1, your bonus modules are how to get organized and some like kitchen ninja tips because, I can talk at you till I'm blue in the face and tell you how to do the things, but until you actually put it into action, nothing's going to change. And so I'm going to help fast track you through making sure you're setting yourself up to eat well, even when life gets busy and you get stressed and you get tired and you get sick and all those things that life throws at you. I'm going to get you organized so that when you're juggling all the things in your life, we're not going to drop the nutrition ball. We're going to keep that one up in the air. All right, we're also going to talk about how to read labels, which is really important when we're talking about foods in the supermarket, but also our sports nutrition products, like what's actually in what you're putting in your mouth. Mindful eating, which is a mad skill that I think is important for long-term health. And that's just about being present when you eat your food rather than like wolfing it while you're on a computer or scrolling through Instagram or watching TV. We're going to talk about how to translate your day-to-day eating into what you do when you eat out or order takeaway so that we can translate that into an environment where you have less control, but you can still control some things. So they're the 4 bonus modules for phase 1. Phase 2, we talk about sports drinks and we talk about gels and what we're looking for specifically in those products. We talk about muscle cramping and where the research is at with that. And we talk about alcohol and performance as well at the end of phase 2. So there's lots of things. I will always teach you everything there is that you need to know. But let's go into one of these things and I'll show you what it looks like in each module. So let's go into, say, iron. So this will be week 5's content. You've got your pre-recorded masterclass here with me. And then the power hour recording goes in here as well once that's happened. And that is a place to go if you miss it. Like if you can't make me live, it doesn't really matter because you can submit your questions ahead of time. I'll show you where that is. It's everywhere. Where is it? Maybe it's not there. It's somewhere where you can actually, there's a link. I might put one there on the side actually. That makes a bit more sense. But when you are, here it is, it's in the masterclass. I knew I put it somewhere that made sense at the time. So here's the video to watch me masterclass. They go for anywhere between sort of 30 to 60 minutes would be the maximum, depending on what we're talking about. Some things are really easy to explain or they're simple and it's really easy to give you a template and a framework for what to do. Others we dive a little bit deeper. It just depends what it is. So iron goes for 41 minutes. So you can watch that in here. And then as you're watching, there's a link here to pop any questions you have as you're going through, and I'll cover that for you in Power Hour. So come and join me live if you can. Otherwise, if not, it's recorded. And then we timestamp that conversation as well. So I'll just go and show you that. We timestamp the conversation. So if you've asked a question, you can go, all right, I'm going to look for my name. All right, me at 11:46. All right, that's my question. Here's what Taryn said when she answered it. So it's all timestamped, so you can just jump to that conversation where you want to hear that answer. So it doesn't matter if you can't make it live for that reason. And then when we're looking at our actual masterclass, you also get the slides as a download, and you can print them out if you're like a person that likes to write what you're doing. and that helps you to learn. And there's also generally a worksheet for most weeks, so that we're generally calculating something or coming up with a plan for something. This one, we're sort of checking how much iron we're getting in our diet. I'm going to show you how to make sure you're getting enough and where we get them from, and how to check your iron levels and all those sorts of things that you need. There's also a section for comments down the bottom here. There's a section if you do want to book a one-on-one consultation with me. Some people do use that, and it's kind of like a nice way to just have me for an hour, pick my brain on something that you're stuck on, or you want to run by me in a way that we don't get to cover in Power Hour. Most people get everything covered in Power Hour, but if there's something really private or personal that you want to talk about, that's your opportunity to do that. I only work one-on-one with people inside the academy, so it's the only way to work one-on-one with me these days. But yeah, that is what it looks like in the back end. So this is just phase 1. Phase 2 is set up the same, and then like I said earlier, phase 3 is the same but a bit longer, so it's 12 weeks instead of 8. So that is what it looks like in the back end. Let me just stop this share. How do I do that? Here we go. Remove. Did that work? Not sure. Stop screen. Okay, there we go. So there's a bunch of people watching. Do you guys have any questions while you've got me? There's still a few more opportunities to catch me if you do want to catch me live. I'm going to jump on in a few hours at midday today, my time. So in 3 hours, 9, 10, 11, 12, well, 2.5 hours. And I'm going to be joined with some of the academy members who are inside the program. So instead of having me talk to you all the time, you can hear from some of the people inside the program and some of the amazing things that they're doing and achieving. It's makes me super happy. So that's at 12 today. And then I'm going live again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So same time, same place tomorrow. And that's the last opportunity to catch me live before we close doors tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you haven't, if you want to go check out the academy, go to dietitianapproved.com/academy. It is very hard to miss on my website because we close doors tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and I'm not opening them again until January 2023. So this is the last opportunity you have to work with me for 2022. This is it. I will do a shout out to all of our new members tomorrow. You get to dive in the gel pool with me. Wetsuit optional. I don't mind. Jump in the deep end. I'll hold your hand, but you go in here as a sports nutrition product. We've got a range of things this launch, and one lucky new member, everyone goes in the draw to win this at the end of open week. So it means that you get to try a whole heap of products as well without having to pay for them. There's some Revy strips in there, some gels, there's some protein powder, there's some magnesium, there's loads of cool things in there. So that's a pretty cool thing to win. So any questions, please let me know. It's been a little bit radio silence this morning, so that's cool. If you're watching the replay and I'm not on live at the minute, pop a comment below here and I can answer it for you, or send me a DM on Instagram as well. All right, if there's no questions, I might jump off, but I'll see you in a few hours on Instagram only at 12, where I'll be joined by some of our academy members to shoot the breeze. And then 9 a.m. tomorrow morning as well on Insta and Facebook. Hey, Sam, how you going? So a couple of opportunities to catch me before we close doors at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Sam said, hi, boss lady. How you going, Sam? Sam is one of our academy members. You can come and join me at midday today if you want, Sam. Come and jump on live. Tell everyone how awesome you are as a triathlete and how much you love me wearing pink. All right, team, I will jump off. I'll see you in a couple of hours on Instagram only if you want to come and hear from some of our academy athletes. Otherwise, I'll be back on Insta and Facebook tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the last time before we close doors. So make sure you go to dietitianapproved.com/academy. This is the last opportunity to work with me and get help with your nutrition for 2022. Who said thanks heaps? Who was that? Facebook user. I can't actually see who that is. You're welcome. Any questions, just let me know. I'm here. I'm here for it. It's raining today in Byron. I will be doing nothing but sitting at my desk working. Sam said, great to see you wearing green. Yes, I'm not wearing pink today, although I only brought one jumper down here, Sam, and it's green, and I've just been wearing that to death all week because it's cooler than I thought it would be. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on your Friday morning. Keep an eye out for some pretty funny reels coming your way on the gram over the next day or two. And apologies in advance for all of the social media and emails coming at your face over the next 2 days as well. But I promise we'll be back to normal programming next week and just one email a week on a Friday, and that is it. I promise we're going back to that. This is not my usual. All right, have a great Friday. Happy Friday. Go and get a coffee, and I'll see you at 12 in like 2.5 hours. Bye.